Following Trump's announcement that the US embassy in Israel would be moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and that the United States would recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, violence broke out in various parts of Israel, including parts of the West Bank and Gaza. Now, there were also protests in other countries that we have considered our allies. And of course, this is because of the fact that it has further made it impossible to create a peace deal between the Palestinians and the Israelis, because this is land that is something that has religious meaning for both the Israelis and the Palestinians, and this has kind of led to more of a division between both of them. Now, the Palestinian Authority called for a general strike in Palestinian cities. In Gaza, the Islamist Hamas movement urged its followers to ignite a third intifada or uprising against Israel. Shops in Jerusalem's Old City were shuttered. The State Department actually notified US embassy employees throughout the world, but especially in that region of the world, to be careful. They said that we expect there to be resistance to this news in the Middle East and around the world. We are still judging the impact this decision will have on US facilities and personnel overseas. And I wanted to read that statement for a second because I think it's so indicative of what you can expect from the Trump administration. We're gonna go ahead and make a very strong, decision when it comes to something that's conflicted, an issue that's very conflicted, that's very difficult, especially for that region of the world. But we're just gonna make that decision without really analyzing the impact it's gonna have or the ramifications it's gonna have on not just the people living in that part of the world, but also US personnel that are working in that part of the world.
Well, several advisors said that he did not seem to have the full understanding. This is according to the Washington Post. Did not seem to have a full understanding of the issue and instead appeared to be focused on seeming, quote, seeming pro-Israel in the words of one and quote, making a deal in the words of another. So as usual, of course he doesn't have any idea what he's doing. He's like, I'm gonna make a deal, I'm gonna make a deal. So he calls up, for example, King Abdullah II in Jordan. And that's a top ally of ours. And you don't want to destabilize Jordan because then Israel will be in much worse shape. If all you care about is Israel, first of all, you should also care about other human beings. But if all you care about is Israel, you do not want to destabilize Jordan. It is a rare country that is stable, and King Abdullah there is a top ally of America and in a sense Israel, okay? So Abdullah says to him, don't do it. You're gonna destabilize us, you're gonna strengthen radicals. You don't want to strengthen radicals, you want to strengthen moderates. And he goes, oh yeah, but I want to appear pro-Israel. And I'm going to tell you why he actually did it in a second, okay? Then Tillerson comes in and says, if you do this, we might have another Benghazi on our hands.
That's right, yeah.
And the guys who pretended to care about Benghazi. And then Mattis, his defense secretary, comes in and says, don't do it. We're not ready. We have to, at a minimum, we have to get all of our consulates and embassies ready in case there is a very predictable negative reaction to this, right? Now, I know what the right wingers are. We're always right, it doesn't matter. We could crush them into the ground. We could occupy them forever. We could spit in their face, we could take their capital. And if they ever react, it's their fault, it's their fault. And then there's always a back and forth, who started it? In this case, it is crystal clear who started it. Donald Trump started it.
Yes.
So Hamas was not talking about days of rage, even if you want to go to Hamas. But allies like Jordan, Egypt, Turkey now going, what are you doing? Why did you just do this? This makes no sense. You've strengthened radicals in all of our countries by doing this. You know why? First of all, religiously, of course Jerusalem is very important. Trump has never read the Bible, never read anything. He's a buffoon, so he doesn't know how important Jerusalem is. Now, I don't give a damn about Jerusalem. And the reality of how easy this is to solve, it's only because the right wing in Israel doesn't want to make a deal. Yes, that's true, okay? So you give East Jerusalem to the Palestinians and the other side to the Israelis, and we're done with it. Everybody knows that's the answer. The UN knows that's the answer. The Palestinians know that's the answer. Most reasonable Israelis know that's the answer, but Netanyahu's like, nope, 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 nope. I want all of Jerusalem. Why? Because whatever religion BS that he's got, the religion BS that the Muslims have, And so why don't we light a match in the middle of the most religious fundamentalist area in the world and see what happens? This is what's gonna happen, and we know who started it. Donald J. Trump started it.
So I want to go to a video from CNN that shows, at the time it was a live report, and there is a reporter on the scene. And just to give you a sense of how much violence broke out as a result of Trump's decision, just take a look at this video and how the reporter reacted.
Businesses are closed, schools are closed, and you're seeing a lot of people go out in the street and voice their anger. Over here, I want to just show you this. This is kind of what you're seeing, the tires that they're burning, and that's what's creating this thick black smoke that you see in the distance here. But this is really the scene. This is the reality here in this part of Ramallah, where we're going to move back some more now.
Yeah, hey, Ian.
All right.
Listen, get to safety, bud. We get the sense of what's happening on the ground. You let us know if the situation changes, but stay safe, all right? We hear him firing the tear gas. Get out of there.
Tear gas is coming in.
Get out of there.
All right. Yep, we're out. Yeah, the armies.
Yeah, just keep running, Ian. Don't worry about broadcasting.
So as we talk about this right now, surprisingly and luckily, there have been no fatalities as a result of the protests, but there have been reports that people were injured, one in critical condition. Those numbers could change at any moment, so we're keeping an eye on it. But when you think about why Trump would make a decision like this, consider the fact that even though Tillerson and Mattis told him, don't do this, it's a really bad idea, it could lead to further destabilization in the Middle East. Consider the fact that Trump is also surrounded by people who love this and have wanted this, including his top donor, Sheldon Adelson, who would not let the issue go. So according to the Washington Post, let's go to graphic 24, an important outside voice advising Trump to make the leap was Adelson, according to several people familiar with the two men's conversations. At a White House dinner earlier this year, Adelson made the issue a main topic. One person said, in the months that followed, Adelson periodically asked others close to Trump what was causing the delay and expressed frustration. Now I'm bringing this up because remember, Adelson is the top donor for Donald Trump. And what did Donald Trump say time and time again during his campaign? That he can't be bought, right? He also has Jared Kushner, who just recently got caught being one of the heads of an organization that was funding illegal settlements by Israel. So he's surrounded by people who have wanted this as well, but I think Adelson is one of the top reasons. Cenk is shaking his head.
Yeah, we don't have a democracy, guys. This is madness. So what the hell's a donor telling the president what to do on important foreign policy and setting the world on fire? This is insanity. And throughout the Washington Post article on this, they talk about all the donors like without flinching, and I'm not blaming the Washington Post, but like, oh, so this donor says this and that donor says that, and then he has to decide between the donors. What the fuck? Your Secretary of State and your Secretary of Defense is telling you don't do it. Almost everyone in the room is saying don't do it, and you go, but wait, I gotta call my donors. This guy talking about draining the swamp, are you kidding me? By the way, some of the donors were against it. Here's a bunch of quotes. Some outside confidants, including billionaire Tom Barrack, urged Trump to hold off. So we're having a donor competition. Oh, okay, the real cabinet is the goddamn donors. So then another one, when another donor criticized the timing of the decision, Trump seemed taken aback. Okay, donor one, donor two, donor three, and don't get into their religions. Some are Christian, some are Jewish, some are whatever else. I don't know, I don't care. That's not the point. The point is you're not supposed to be talking to your donors and making decisions based on that. Okay, so then here's one more description from that same Washington Post article. The president provided a preview of this week's decision to major donors last weekend at a fundraiser at the Manhattan home of Blackstone chief executive Stephen Schwarzman. He's unveiling policy not to the public, not to you guys, not to his voters, but to his donors. We didn't even know about it, the donors already knew. So then they have a conversation about it. Some agree, some disagree, and then after being showered with praise by billionaire Ronald Lauder for being more pro-Israel than past presidents, Trump promised that within days he would declare Jerusalem the capital and begin the process of moving the embassy. This whole country is bought. Almost every politician we have is bought. And Donald Trump is the most bought. And look, guys, it doesn't matter what their policies or anything else is. I can see the YouTube comments and the loathsome things that are gonna happen there. Don't get sidetracked by stupid, irrelevant stuff like their religion or their background or their ethnicity or anything like that. The problem is the system. We allow them to write checks to politicians and hand it to them, and then the politicians win based on those checks. Who the hell do you think they're gonna work for? And they just lit the world on fire because his donors wanted it.
I do also want to finish this up by giving you a quote by a senior White House official who spoke to the Washington Post on condition of anonymity. This official said that the decision wasn't driven by the peace process. The decision was driven by his campaign promise. And one of those campaign promises was made specifically to his donors. So let's take a quick break.
Wolf-pac.com. Wolf-pac.com, wolf-pac.com. If you don't get the 28th Amendment to get money out of politics, look, the defense contractors don't want peace in the Middle East. So I don't know who in the room was defense contractors or not, and I don't know that that was decisive. I do know allowing defense contractors and oil companies, which both stand to make billions of dollars for more war in the Middle East, allowing them to buy off politicians is insanity. And then you got Adelson who wants to kill the unions and who's got his whatever particular ideology. And then you got Thomas Barack over there. You got this guy over there, Ronald Lauder over there. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Does this look like democracy to you? Wolf-pac.com. If you don't get the money out, we're not gonna win. You gotta go volunteer. You gotta go bust your ass in whatever state you're in. Look, if you want to donate, for God's sake, donate. They're trying to get a young kid out of Yale to help now. Wolf-pac.com/John. Go hire him right away. They need donors to hire that kid so they can do it. But volunteer, go get involved, roll up your sleeves, get up off the couch. Because our democracy has been absolutely shredded. It's gone. You got to now go and get it back. That you are revolutionaries. It is a revolution. We need to get the democracy back. If you like this video, you'll love the whole TYT network. Check it out at tytnetwork.com/join.